Hey guys, ShadMD here. Hope you're doing well. You know what? It's an uncool video. A very uncool video I have today because it's about Gibson price increases, and turns out the Gibson guitars have gotten more expensive again. Just got this news today, which is why I wanted to post the video just to get the info out there for anyone who hasn't heard or seen, especially if you're in the market for Gibson. I think it's worth knowing that, hey, some of their guitars have gone up in price. Now, the good thing about this price increase, or I guess the not as bad thing, the increases aren't as bad as what happened in January. So if you're not aware, Gibson actually increased prices back around January time on their entire lineup. And now this is the second price increase we're seeing. Now, the good thing is, compared to January, fewer guitars seem to be seeing an increase, and we're not seeing as big of an increase back in January. And again, if you want to learn about the price increases from the January time, I believe Trogley did a really good thorough video going through the entire lineup. But if I remember correctly, I think pretty much the entire Gibson lineup, top to bottom, saw a price increase, like basically every single model, save for maybe one or two. And some of the increases are pretty high, like the Les Paul Classic went up by almost $300. I think the standard 60s and 50s went up by $200, and a bunch of them saw a $100 increase. So it was like a pretty big price increase this time around. Seems to be a select few Gibson USA guitars from what I gather. And again, this is just what I noticed today. I don't know if they're going to increase prices more. I'm hoping that whatever we see as far as price increases today, that's all we're going to get. There's not going to be any more increases in the coming weeks. But I do believe back in January, the Slash Les Paul Standard stayed at the original price, whereas all the other guitars went up in price. But then I think a few weeks after, they increased the Slash Les Paul price as well. So it's possible a few of the guitars might still see a price increase in the coming weeks, and they didn't finish, changing prices yet on everything. But regardless, if you're definitely in the market for one, like you've been planning to buy a Gibson guitar and you've been wanting one for a long time, and you're just waiting for the right time to strike, this might be the best time to strike, because I think pretty soon, if it hasn't happened already, a lot of dealers are already going to be changing the prices to the new increased ones. But at least at the time of recording this, I think a few dealers still have it at the old price. And I do believe, I saw the Music Zoo had like an Ice-T standard 60s still at the $2,700 versus the $2,800 price you see on like Guitar Center. And a couple other things, if you're not in the market for a guitar, this is probably a good time to just hold on to what you have and appreciate it. I'd say the one silver lining to all these increased prices, at least for me, is, it's really quelled my gas. Like, I'm usually, super impulsive with buying guitars, and I'm just like, oh my God, I get excited by the, newest thing that I see, and I just absolutely have to have it, and I get it, and then I have to obviously sell another one of my older guitars to get that, and I do that, and then I regret selling my older guitar. And it's just this kind of like cycle, of just moving guitars and, big high turnaround, and that's pretty fun, but also not the best use of my time, and takes away from me practicing and just enjoying the guitars that I do have. So, I think if you're not absolutely set on buying a Gibson guitar and you're not really in the market for one, don't even worry about this, because you already got the guitars you like. Just enjoy them, play them. I'm kind of hopeful that in the next year or two, the used market might be a little bit better. I think with so many people, including myself, who bought a bunch of guitars throughout the pandemic and increased our collections a little bit, a lot of us will be, either wanting to or needing to thin the herd in the coming year or two. And when that happens, I think we'll get some more good used deals, hopefully. We'll see. And again, I'm not super surprised the prices went up. I think everything's getting more expensive. That's not just Gibson or guitars, with the increased gas prices and transportation costs and things like that, limited supplies plus inflation and a bunch of other things way beyond my understanding. I don't think it's too much of a surprise that the prices have gone up, but still not something you want to see. But a few notable ones that I noticed, and again, this isn't all of the price increases. I don't have, exact knowledge of what all the guitars had cost before. I only see the current prices listed on the website for Gibson, so I can only point out the guitars where I knew what they sold for before. But the ones that I noticed that had gone up in price were The Les Paul standard 50s and 60s models. Those were originally back in like 2019 when they first came out, retailing for $2,500. Then in January, they increased the prices to $2,700. Now they went up by another $100 to $2,800. The other ones, let's see, the Les Paul Classic had the biggest jump that I noticed, and what's kind of not surprising, I suppose, but what's interesting is the Les Paul Classic had the biggest price jump back in January as well during that price increase. So the Les Paul Classic started off in 2019, 2020 for $2,000 retail, brand new. In January, they increased that to $2,300. So they increased it by $300, which was the biggest price jump of any of the guitars in the Gibson lineup at that time. And this time around too, it made the biggest jump by $200, and now it's retailing for $2,500. So that guitar is $500 more now than it was, I think, a year ago, which is a bit crazy, but it is what it is. A little bit of an aside on the Les Paul Classic, the olive drab green Gibson exclusive collection Classic still seems to be listed for $2,300 at the old price on the Gibson website. So if you're in the market for that one specifically and you like that color, now might be the best time to act, because again, I think that's going to go up to the new $2,500 price soon, if it hasn't already by the time I post this. Let's see a few other ones. The Les Paul Studio went up in price by about $100, so now it's $1,700 instead of $1,600. The Les Paul Special went up by another $100, so the Les Paul Special went up in price from $1,700 to $1,800. The Les Paul Junior surprisingly stayed the same price. That's still retailing for $1,600 now, but the Special went up by another $100, so that's $1,800 now. I was glad to see the Les Paul Tribute still listed at the old price of $1,300, which is a good thing because that's an awesome guitar and was always a pretty good value. And I'm glad that they've kept that price the same. Of the SGs, most of the guitars seem to have maintained the old price, at least as of now, but I did see the regular Gibson SG Standard go up by $100. I think I was selling for $1,700, now I think it's $1,800, so that might have gone up by $100. Let's see, what else am I missing? I didn't get to go over the Flying Vs and the Explorers or the ES335s. Can't really comment on those. Same with the Custom Shop. I'm not super familiar with Custom Shop pricing, so I saw the prices listed for the Custom Shop, but I couldn't tell you if that was higher than what it was before because I never really looked at Custom Shop prices. I don't really buy Custom Shops. Let's see, what else am I missing here? I think those were the big ones. Oh yeah, the Les Paul Custom. That was frustrating. So it used to be the Les Paul Custom in Ebony and Alpine White were both the same price. I think, again, 2019, you could get both for, if I remember right, for $4,500. So whether you got a black Les Paul Custom or a white Les Paul Custom, you spend $4,500, you could get either. And January, they increased prices on both, but what happened was they increased the black one from $4,500 to $5,000, but they increased the white one from $4,500 to $5,500, which was insane. It was like, $500 more than the black one. And I asked online about it, and I guess it seems like the actual manufacturing, the labor to make an Alpine White is more intense than what it is to make a black one. I guess there are a couple of reasons listed, but basically it just took more effort and time to produce an Alpine White Les Paul versus the black one. So they went up in price there, but more recently, this time around, they kept the Les Paul Custom Ebony price at $5,000, but they increased the Alpine White by another $300. So now the same Les Paul Custom in Ebony is $5,000, but in Alpine White it's $5,800. So they increased it by another $300, so it's $800 more to get a white Les Paul Custom versus a black one, which just seems insane to me. But yeah, if you already have one in white, hold on to it, because that thing seems to be just going up in value more and more. And if you bought one of those Alpine White Les Paul Customs like 2 years ago, honestly, great job. You got a really good deal. Anyways, those were some of the ones that I initially noticed. If you noticed any other price increases, let me know down in the comments. I'm curious to hear. And again, if you're not in the market for a guitar, don't even worry about this. Just play the ones you have and enjoy them. You know, if you are in the market for a new Gibson and you're pretty set on buying one and you've been set on buying one, I would probably reach out to dealers now versus later and see if you can lock in the old prices before any of the increases. And hopefully, again, we won't see any further price increases anytime soon. I was glad to see some of the signature models like the Adam Jones Signature Silver Burst. Those seem to still be the same price. And, you know, again, the Slash Les Paul price increase I think happened a little bit later than the other ones. So maybe some of the signature guitars and other models will go up in price in the coming weeks. But as of now, those still seem to be okay. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to check out my videos, and definitely like and subscribe if you haven't already. I try to post videos pretty regularly. And as always, stay safe, rock on, be well guys, bye.